I doubled my gold investment within 24 hours starting a new profession from scratch in Dragonflight in 2023. Let's be 100% clear about what I'm talking about here then. I wanted to see if I could start a profession from zero with no profession knowledge in 2023 and still be able to make gold profitably with no gathering or farming and with how competitive the auction house currently is. The rules I set myself were simple. It had to be a fresh profession, so this means I was starting at zero knowledge and was only allowed to craft Dragonflight stuff. This means no flipping or any of the other crazy stuff I do at times. The only way I'm allowed to make gold is by selling what I've crafted. I was allowed to spend some gold to level up the profession, buy some profession gear and enchant the tool. I did however limit myself to only being allowed rank 3 rare profession gear as to not give myself an advantage against the majority of the player base. Once I was levelled and geared up, then I gave myself exactly 100,000 gold and the challenge was to see what I could do from here. It took me less than 24 hours, but I turned this 100k gold into 200k and I could and would have kept this up, but I'll explain why I stopped later on. After thinking about how I was going to approach the challenge for a little while, I decided I would go with cooking as my profession of choice for the challenge. I used Craft Sim, which is an awesome little add-on telling you how profitable certain crafts are, taking into account your profession stats and the current prices on the auction house. Just remember here, I was limited to rank 3 profession gear, so you could have higher profit margins, and I didn't use any finishing reagents at any point in the challenge. In cooking, you have no quality on what you produce, but your cooking skill varies the amount of servings you get, so it's essential to have this capped out to make sure you are making as much profit as possible. What I found was that deluxe fish food seemed to be in profit all of the time. There are 6 different deluxe fish dishes that you can cook and they are all basically BIS non-feast food. You randomly unlock the ability to craft these when you craft a simple fish dish, and you can get the recipes for these from the auction house. They are only a few thousand gold each on the high population servers. Unlocking these wasn't really an issue at all. Selling these was not an issue either. These are sold on the region-wide auction house and they are BIS non-feast food and they are fairly cheap, so I found that I could sell these pretty much as fast as I could craft them. In fact, the issue I had multiple times in the day that I did this was waiting for the gold to actually arrive to me from the auction house. This would not have been an issue if I hadn't set myself the gold limit at the start of the challenge, and so I would have actually made more gold doing this if I didn't have this issue. The 6 deluxe fish dishes each required a variety of fish to cook them, but they also needed some assorted exotic spices or pebbled rock salts. It was here when I started to realise why these were actually so profitable on the auction house. It takes decades to craft the assorted exotic spices, pebbled rock salt and the deluxe fish meals that we eventually sell. Even the flask of quick hands didn't seem to make that much of a difference. I had absolutely no issues making a profit here, I had no issues selling, but the crafting time was just insane. And this is the reason that I did not carry on doing this. When I decided I was doing cooking, I thought I may as well do this on my main, but I had no idea how time consuming the crafting process was going to be. The reason I had to stop the challenge was because my main is an engineer, which is currently my main profession gold maker. I don't know if you've done engineering before, but it's also a massively time consuming process crafting all the regions, and there is just not enough crafting time on this character to do both. If I had not picked to do this challenge on my engineer, then I would still be doing this crafting now. Sure, making 100k a day for hours and hours of crafting isn't going to break any records, but it's solid enough gold making, and it's not like I was doing anything for it anyway. The whole process was 95% AFK. I started a profession from scratch, absolutely miles behind every other player, and with a couple of hours it was turning a pretty solid profit. Cooking isn't amazing, but it isn't terrible either, and you know what? No work orders, no weekly quests, just craft stuff and sell it. If this video gets enough love and is popular, then I might try a similar sort of challenge with a different profession. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.